Welcome to Empower Hour. Let's get growing.
Good morning, everyone. So good to be here. I am sitting here overlooking the ocean, very grateful. And it's been a pretty intense week. I rolled out the 14-day habit challenge, and I just reflecting was a big part of this week. One of the things that I have really learned with changing habits is that you can't reflect or focus so much on what you don't want to do anymore. And you first need to become aware. So we're diving deeper into the connection between habits, awareness, and mindset, and how this shapes our entire lives, all of our desires, everything that we hope for and dream for are directly aligned with our awareness, and then our choices and our actions and our habits. And it blows my mind because I feel like I've been doing this deep personal growth development work for so long, like almost half my lifetime. And then I spend a week reflecting on my habits, and all this stuff comes up, that like, wait, I could swear like I've already dealt with this and whatever. I love viewing it as situations. It's like we're going up a spiral staircase, and so we're like down here and we look, oh yeah, I know that situation, and then we deal with the situation, or we apply mindfulness, and we think that we've grown, and then you're continuing to go up the spiral staircase, and then you look out and it's the same view. And then you remember, yes, it's the same view, but now I am looking at it from a higher level. And it's why it's so important to constantly be tweaking and taking a look at where you're at and what you're doing. And we slip back into, habit energy is so deep. Habit energy, a lot of it we were born with. We're doing things based on how our ancestors did things. We're not even conscious of it. And so that's what came up for me a lot this week. So my goal for today is to help uncover deep patterns driving your habits and empower you to align them with your deepest desires. And I think that we forget that very often. We kind of like have these goals, these dreams, these wishes. We did this amazing vision casting, and we think, okay, I put it on paper. And you know what? Sometimes we can be so strong and have so much grit that we will achieve results, but will they be sustainable? Will you be able to enjoy them? Will you be in peace and harmony and in a place in life where you are in that space, where you are in freedom and love and joy? Because achieving things without that, it just doesn't make any sense. And you know what? The other thing I learned is that you can't force change. This is why resolutions they don't work, right? Because we're just so focused on what we don't want and how we want to change and being disciplined. And it was years ago when I realized that discipline is negative self-talk. Discipline is all about, if only I stopped doing this, or if only I started doing this, I would be that. That is negative. Our mind and body do not like that. Okay, so in habits, it's more about building better habits to replace the habits that no longer serve you. Okay. And so this week, tracking my habits has been a completely different experience for me. And it's a little frustrating, I won't lie, because my daily habits are pretty amazing at this point. I have a whole morning routine, I have my evening routine, I have the way that I work, the way that I flow. I live my schedule based on what feels good, what feels right. I am cultivating awareness deeper than I ever have and living in a pretty good space. But when I was really paying attention to my habits, what jumped out at me this week was this negative self-talk track that I have. It's not necessarily talking bad about me, but about situations in my life, those old habits of controlling and fixing. They run so deep. There is this soundtrack that's constantly being turned on. And if I'm not aware of it and take that space to shut it off, it wreaks a little havoc in my life. So this brought a whole new level of clarity this week and really changed a lot of what I know about habits, because we think so much of the habits just being, do I get up in the morning and look at my phone, or do I meditate? Do I go for a run, or do I check emails? Do I drink coffee or make myself a green shake, right? We think of those as our habits. We don't think about the way that we think and believe and what we're allowing to take place in our head and our heart. And so clearly hearing these negative thoughts, and it's funny because the first time I ever heard that, like actually heard it, was only a few years ago. And when I say it, I'm talking about that voice, that other voice that talks you out of your greatest desires. Was a few years ago. I forget what it was that I was trying to do, but I heard a voice as loud as can be, just don't even bother, you're not smart enough. I was like, whoa, who is that? And these negative soundtracks really became clear to me also, not only through my journaling, but going back and reading my past journals. The past journals were like full of all my deepest desires, and not drinking was one of them. I wrote in my journal all the time about, I wish I drank less, or I wish I didn't drink, or blah, 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 almost every journal entry. And then when I went back and read them, I was like, hold on a second. These are my deepest desires. Who the heck is that person saying, oh, just have a glass of wine, it's not a big deal. Oh, have a glass of wine. You had such a long day. There was so much stress and so much this and so much that. Go ahead and have it. Who is that? And we think it's us, and it's not. It is old habit energy. And again, that habit energy could be things that you literally have inherited from your ancestors. So you're not even conscious. So probably a lot of your choices you are not aware of. You're just in this autopilot zone. And I'm talking, you guys, no matter what level you are at, there is always an ability to go deeper. All right. So that awareness is key to building a life by design versus by default. How can you build a life by design if you are taking actions and making choices that you're not even aware of? It's just not possible. And so habits are a reflection of our beliefs. Habits that are not in alignment with our desires stem from scarcity, fear, and then habits that are in alignment come from emotions and feelings that vibrate at a higher level, which is why it's so important to have habits and practices, daily routines, and rituals that reinforce these higher level of emotions. For me, that is meditation, Kundalini yoga, journaling. I'm now getting into chanting and singing, and these are scientifically proven to give you a higher frequency. And so focusing, and again, going back to focusing on what you don't want, as opposed to focusing on the behaviors that you do want, are not going to get you the good results. Like, just, I really wish I didn't drink, did not work for me for about 10 years. And then the minute that I cultivated the awareness that it was my deepest desire to no longer drink, and then simply replaced the habits. And this is often a it's a stress trigger reward. It's a trigger reward situation, right? Like, yeah, it was a stressful day, I'm gonna have a drink. It was a stressful day, I'm gonna have some ice cream. And that becomes, it's karma, basically. Those are our cycles. And so it's like, if this, then that. And so you got to replace those algorithms. If this, then I meditate, I journal at the end. Almost every day when you're building a business, as I am and many of you are, has a good deal of stress involved. And so having the ritual at the end of the day to meditate or listen to some sort of programming, hypnotic stuff, things that make you feel good, sound healing music, podcasts, whatever, gives you that good energy, is going to shift your mindset and create a natural pathway for new habits to emerge. So changing those algorithms, and now, but you have to cultivate the awareness that when this happens, I do that. And slowly but surely replace that with the things that are more aligned with your desired outcomes. Okay. So I asked some of my habit challenge people if they wanted to join today. I don't know if anybody has the courage to come live, but I want to know, how does your mindset support or hinder the habits that you want to build? Now, this is tricky because, you guys, I thought I had this amazing mindset. Yet this week I became aware that as soon as I'm not busy and doing this soundtrack that plays a very negative perception of situations in my life begins to play. So it goes very, very deep. And that's why cultivating that awareness is so important. I'm excited about this because now I am more aware of habits that are so deeply ingrained in me that it's going to just bring me a whole new level of freedom and ease. When we want to do these things, when we want to build new habits and we want to do different things, we get frustrated, right? This is why resolutions don't really work, because we are not aware of how we are working against ourselves. I mean, I was completely unaware of how deep this soundtrack that stems from my habits of people pleasing, controlling and fixing situations in my life. Even when opportunity comes, I tend to try to, I get scared that, it's going to get lost or it's not going to be perfect if I don't do all these things. And that energy is truly blocking me from all of my deepest desires. So that's exciting. It's great news because I now know I'm going to have a different level of ease in designing the life that I desire, right? In creating and just cultivating that awareness has been such a gift. So I ask you that question and want you to reflect on it. Habits are energy in motion. Aligned habits are a vibrational match for the life you want to create. I'm going to say that again. Aligned habits are a vibrational match for the life you want to create. And I've overcome a lot of habits that were not aligned with the kind of life that I want to create. And these were habits, listen, I come from like the most dysfunctional family background on both maternal and maternal and paternal sides of my family, alcoholism, depression, all kinds of just self-destructive, very self-sabotaging behavior. And it was so ingrained in me. But here's the thing, this is crazy, this is really out there. I truly believe that the deeper and deeper I go with this, not only am I blazing a trail for my children and my grandchildren and everyone that comes after me, but I also believe that I am healing my ancestors. A lot of this came through struggle and just dysfunction, and was handed to me, and I'm completely unaware of it. So start to think about that. What are some of those habits that are completely not in alignment with the life that you desire, with the goals that you desire, with whatever, whatever your deepest desires are? Think about those habits and wonder why I'm not making the kind of progress that I want to make, when I know this is exactly what I want. Everything in my body is telling me this is what I want. These are my desires. This is the life that I want to live. But yet, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, I'm in the same place. And I can guarantee you there's not something fundamentally wrong with you. There is just such deep-seated habit energy that you are not aware of. So if you begin cultivating that awareness, and I have taken that to a whole nother level at this point. I am doing awareness meditation several times a day at this point, so that I can really, really be aware of when my mind goes to these other soundtracks that are not in alignment with the life that I want to live. And so it's been a little bit of a struggle in a sense, because now I'm aware and can hear it and experience it on such a deep level. But now once I am aware of it, I can begin to replace those deep-seated thoughts and beliefs and habit energy, right? It's like pulling out the weeds and watering your flowers. But we can't change what we don't see. And the fact is that I wasn't cultivating enough awareness, because I've still been in survival mode, still operating out of fear and scarcity at times. And you're not able to see it. When you're in the weeds, you can't see the flowers. It's really that simple. And so intentional habits, working on your foundational habits like hydration, moving your body, breathing, journaling, meditation, all of these things are going to help align you with your bigger vision. They're going to help you cultivate awareness for these deep-seated habit energy patterns that you have, and aligning you with your bigger and ultimate vision and desire and the life that you want to design. So we did several things in the habit challenge. Like we focused on tracking our daily habits. By the way, if you've never done this, where you track everything you do throughout the day, this is one of the most powerful exercises that you can ever have, especially if you're one of those people. It's like you show up and go through the motions, but you're not making the progress that you want. Chances are it is the things that you are doing from the minute you wake up till you go to bed. You're not really aware of the actions that you are taking. And I remember that before I did this, before I really started tracking, I used to start my mornings with the phone and emails and scrolling and doing all these things, and you sort of set the tone for chaos and overwhelm. But in addition to that, you think that you're busy and doing things, and you're not, right? And so you're like, you're at your desk, you're at your computer, but you're doing everything but the thing that you're supposed to be doing. And we're not even aware of this. They've become so deep ingrained in our habits. It's become the world. The world is distracted. And so then you get into that scarcity mindset of I don't have enough time. If I had $1 for every business owner or entrepreneur that I hear say, I just don't have enough time, it's just mind blowing. So when you actually take the time to track your daily habits and see what you are doing, you're going to all of a sudden shift that mindset and you're going to realize I have enough time. I have more than enough time for what matters. And when you begin to put what matters first and begin to put what matters in alignment, those actions and those choices with your greatest desires, then you are going to start to get those kind of results, right? And then I naturally started creating a morning routine that felt calm, intentional, and aligned. And then I started doing the same thing for my evening routine, and then all of this awareness. And now that I have gotten even deeper and really, really able to recognize this negative soundtrack that is like constantly going, no matter how hard I'm working and how much I'm aligning my habits and my choices, because I'm almost impeccable at this point on my daily habits and my daily actions, but yet I was still unaware of this soundtrack. So exciting. And it came through, once again, tracking my routines and habits, where you can say, oh yeah, I already did that once. No, this is a practice. This is a practice. That karma, and karma is really just cycles. It goes way, 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 way back, and it is in our DNA. It's in every single cell. So if we are not bringing this awareness over and over and over and over again, we're not going to be noticing those things that are pulling us away from our deepest desires. So very, very important. And so awareness and habits are the foundation of any lasting habitual change. Transformation doesn't come from forcing change. It comes from aligning your actions with what you truly want. Judgments and beating yourself up is only going to perpetuate the negative habits that you are looking to change, because they feed, this is that trigger response type thing, right? They feed on those negative emotions. So even if you desire to stop eating ice cream and you end up eating ice cream, there's a practice that you can apply that will be very, very helpful, and start to observe, right? So there's nothing wrong with eating ice cream, right? Everything in moderation. But if it's your deepest desire to stop, that means if you're going to eat that ice cream, there is something, just like for me, it was alcohol. There was something that was triggering me and then convincing me to go ahead and have that drink, even though it was my deepest desire not to do so. So when the desire arises, you want to apply mindfulness and you want to say, okay, what am I feeling right now? What are the emotions that are going through my body at this moment? How do I feel physically? And just observe it. And then go ahead and have the ice cream. And then observe how you feel after the ice cream. Do not beat yourself up. Do not go into I coulda, shoulda, woulda. Applying this mindfulness is going to help you to become aware, and I guarantee you the desire diminishes. But not only that, when you can become aware of what is triggering you towards this habit that you would like to no longer be a slave to, you can then begin to replace it with something else, right? Changing those algorithms. So small intentional shifts create alignment with your purpose and vision. And this is where you're going to level up into areas of your life, no matter where you are. taking this kind of a 14-day habit challenge is going to help you break through ceilings and level up and get into such deep awareness, having these really, really honest evaluations of who you are and what makes you tick. So take a moment and think about your current habits. What's working? What's not? And what's one small shift that you can make today that feels more in alignment with your goals? Not resolutions, not I'm never going to do this again, but awareness and small shifts and replacing when you are triggered with, and then you immediately go for the reward of whatever that habit is that you want to break, replacing it with something else. So if you're a part already of the 14-day challenge, just keep stacking these habits. Keep cultivating this awareness. And you can do it again. I placed it right here, right at the end of the year during the holiday season, so that you would, before, because I think Christmas and Hanukkah are around the same time this year. So before the holidays kick off, you have built more awareness and will be more aware in your indulging through the holiday season. And then you can do it again. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be running these 14-day habit challenges probably once a quarter, because that is how much I know and believe that taking charge of our actions and our choices starts with awareness. And then we can slowly shift those habits into the habits that will align with the life that we desire. So if you have not signed up for the 14-day habit challenge yet, please do so. This is such an easy, fun way to bring awareness to your choices and actions, no matter where you are at in your life, in your career. This will help you to break through ceilings and level up and get to a place where you are living in soulful prosperity and freedom, joy, and ease. And get to hang out with me, and we'll have a ton of fun. So thank you for being here and always showing up for yourself. Is there anybody who has any thoughts or questions? And just remembering that transformation starts with small mindful choices, and you're ready. So let's go. Thank you.